Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Denise, and she will do a more focused look at what's going on at GFL.
Good morning, I'm Denise Miller. If you know anything about me, you don't have to talk about Girl Scouts all day. But I wanted to point out a couple things to you guys based on the evaluations that we got last year. We now have brought food in because people thought we should do that. We also have handouts. You might have overdone the handouts, but we got handouts. If you didn't get them, they're on that side of that door right there. And you should have gotten a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. You should have gotten a meeting evaluation. And we really need you to fill out the meeting evaluation form because that helps us improve the meetings next year. We have, of course, our beautiful, beautiful annual report. I just think this thing is so, so nice. And really, thank you. It's saying thanks to my board. We also have our camp brochure, if you're interested in that. Another beautiful, beautiful piece. There's information also about the family partnership. And when you leave, there will be a handout. It's a whole packet that we have been developing in partnership with the Archdiocese of Detroit about stuff that's been going on about us on the internet. And I think many of you may want to get this time. I believe Mike is going to know all about that, about where we are putting this stuff. And so that's Mr. Bear's job. We had so many important things to talk about. And that this year during the program portion, I thought it was really important to have Lisa and Michael tell their own story. So I have a couple of quick points that I want to make for you guys. And first of all, there are a couple of points I want to make, and when I talk about the state of the council. We've had a strong second year, but we continue to have membership decline. However, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons about that, but despite the membership decline, we had a break-even second year, which was amazing. Diane Young, our finance committee chair, is going to describe finance information a little bit more in detail. We continue to involve volunteers as much as possible in the figuring out how we're going to operate this Girl Scout Council. We've been really, really committed to that, and I hope you notice that difference. And we're also been building the infrastructure. Last year, the last couple of years, we've been going through the staff restructuring. I think we're finally done with that. I know I'm exhausted from it. I'm sure the staff's exhausted from it. For the last, by the time we're done, we'll have been working on the volunteer restructure for 18 months. And so this is something that we've been trying to do very carefully with a lot of involvement from volunteers. And Lisa's going to talk about that. Okay. Here's the national membership numbers. Nationally, I thought you might be interested in knowing that there are 2,300,000 girls with a market share of 8.8%, a retention rate of 53, and similar figures with the adult. There's numbers here for the adults. Now, the next slide, if you compare that to GSSEM, you see we're not very, very well. Our market share is below the national average. Our retention rate is low. I will say, though, for our devoted volunteers, our market share of volunteers is a little bit higher. And I think that speaks very much to the commitment of our adult volunteers in Southeastern Michigan. Despite everything, despite the census, despite everything, you guys are hanging with Girl Scouts. Any of this where?
I'll do it for you.
Okay, good. I'm going to hand you that. So this is our girl membership by level. And you'll find, you might find this very, very interesting, because I know I find this very, very interesting. If we go to the next slide, Mike, you will see that the girl membership at GSSEM, we've had 24,000 fewer girls from 2006 to 2011 to 2010. Pretty horrifying. And here's some of the factors, though, impacting membership. We know nationally that the true pathway has been declining over the past 20 years, and that's been true around the country. But in Michigan, demographic shifts are really significant. I was stunned when I figured this out, and this was based on, I did this before the 2010, I did this about a month ago or so, and I'm going to check it again based on what the census says about 2010, because I think in Michigan we were stunned that it was even worse than what we thought. truly. But think about this, almost 1 out of 5 fewer girls between the ages of 5 to 9, between the year 2000 and the year 2009. That's really amazing. Another thing that happened is that we have really committed to the idea of volunteers being our service delivery vehicle. That volunteers are the people that interact with girls. And so we have really backed off from staff-led troops, and we are using staff-led programs. If we are going to establish Girl Scouts where we need to establish Girl Scouts, and for sure have our commitment to girls in underserved areas, then we need to create a tradition of Girl Scouting in that particular area. For too long, Girl Scout councils have purchased their diversity. And we will no longer do that. We will not do that. We have committed to working to community development in every area in our council so that we can establish true Girl Scouting there. And yes, our membership has gone down, but interestingly, I would say here the smaller these numbers is alarming, because that's our feeder system, getting girls and Girl Scouts. I thought it'd be fun for you guys to take a look. I know I always find this information interesting. This particular slide, very small, but I'll show you some demographic information. There is a term there that I had to look up. It's called second city. That's a demographer's term for the oldest cities are first cities. The second cities are the second cities that were developed. Okay, so that's all it means. Doesn't mean that one's first class and one's second class. It has to do with order. Okay. Now the next slide, Michael, shows you where membership is, and I find that very interesting as well. I can go on and on with these scatter maps, but I'm going to stop with that. I find this stuff fascinating, and I find you might enjoy that too. Where we're standing in this building, really, and I know people hate to travel, but really where we stand in this building is the geographic center as well as the membership center of our council. It really is up in this area now. Okay, next slide. Now, in terms of the budget, we had a better than break-even budget because, and maybe I should have said this in the membership part, we had the same number of girls selling cookies in 2010 as we had in 2009, and the same numbers we had in 2008. So despite the membership decline, what does that tell you? I'll tell you what it tells me. It tells me that if girls are selling cookies, then there's an adult working with that girl, an adult volunteer working with that girl, right? And so I think we're on the right track. I think we're on the right track there. Now what we need to do, as Nancy said, is to focus on growing that membership. We also were able to break even because we are living within our means. We continue to shrink number of staff, and I think that we're about right size right now. I think we're kind of like General Motors, where we have right-sized the organization, and now if we can just start getting more girls, we're really going to take off if that makes any sense to my auto friends. We also very painfully went down to operating 2 resident camps and then just 2 seasonal camps, and then again staff did not get raises. And at some point, I'm going to have to figure out how to get staff raises. Some of my folks haven't had raises for 3 and 4 years, and we just can't operate that way. Okay. Now, in terms of volunteer involvement, this is a list, and these are just the ones that came to mind and fell on and fit on the slide. But these are the ongoing council-wide volunteer committees, at least from my point of view. And there's going to be way, way, way more opportunities as well. So you can see all of these committees, and they did great, great, great work last year. If you look at 2010 special projects, we had, it seems so long ago because that was, 8, 9 months ago, what can I say? But we finally, after, how many months ago did we spend on the property process? I don't know, over a year, I think we spent on the property planning process and finally got that thing to a point where we could actually make some really good recommendations from that. That involved 70 volunteers and girls. We had a strategic learning process, which is at the foundation, as Nancy said, rolling out from national, where we had volunteers, girls, staff, and community members. We are working with volunteers, and I will tell you, if our registrars hadn't stepped up last year to help us with registration when we were doing Personify last year, we would have been in huge trouble. And we're going to have to continue to work with registrars about our whole getting girls registered boy, I wish that personified thing was easier. Nonetheless, we're hoping that they will improve it over time, but it's the system we're stuck with, and thank you registrars for sticking with us on that. Then we have the Camp Metamora garage sale. Oh my God. Talk about mounts and stuff. You know, we are mad rats in Girl Scouts. It's just unbelievable. All right, this coming year, our upcoming special projects. Mary, would you stand? Mary Lyons, would you stand up? Carol McConnell, would you stand? Auntie, would you stand up for a minute? Thank you so much, and I will describe to you what they've been doing for us. It's a very important thing. When you leave, you need to take a copy of this. It's thanks to these guys. And Devaki, Devaki, with your hand over there, our public relations person, develop these materials to help us, how can I put this, state the facts about the stuff that you see about us, the lies that you see about us on the internet. And so I would urge you all to take a copy of this, and we'll have to figure out how we can better distribute this to folks. Finally, I think we've got documents that will harm you. Now, that doesn't mean that, you guys can sit down. Can we clap for them? That doesn't mean that if you click, and eventually you'll find something that mentions the word Planned Parenthood, okay? The fact is we do not have a relationship with Planned Parenthood, but the fact is, yes, some of our girls are going to go and want to go find out about Planned Parenthood. It's that simple. We can't help that. Just for fun, last night, because we continue to wrestle with this controversy, I typed in the word birth control in Google, and do you know that there were 35 million entries in 0.13 seconds? In about 1 second. So if you just want to find out about birth control, hey, you know what? It's out there, okay? Just my little editorial last minute. All right. We have a really important food banking committee, and Bonnie, would you wave, Bonnie, who's our CFO, would you wave over there? Also the volunteers. We're trying to figure out, thank you. And you see the committees, I got 1 minute left in this slide. Okay. We have significant victory. It comes to that. Check out the text. Provision on this. Because you said that we're going to do this, we did, and we're going to share. And then finally, just for fun, we have a copy of the organization chart so you know how we're laid out. I got a couple seconds left? Or am I done? I'm pretty done? Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I have a question, that's fine. So, does anybody have any questions for me? Okay. Oh, yes, ma'am. Virginia. The question was, is it going to be where you live or? The question is, that was probably going to be figured out proportionately. And so people will make their donation and then will be figured out proportionately on the size of the organization, I think.
By county.
By county, excuse me, by county.
There you go.
So it'll be by, excuse me, that's right, because they can only do it by county. Now, the cool thing is, we advocated for it. And his law firm, Clark Hill, helped us get this legislation. We paid money for their help. We're going to reduce the money's coming to us. We wrote the legislation, so I think the money's coming to us, right? And then we will distribute it back out. There was another question there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How did we come to be associated with CYO, and why did that have to do?
Our association with CYO.
What does that have to do with like the things that you say, the rumors that are out online?
Okay.
Why?
I thought this was better known, so let me go into this subject then. We have at one of our Catholic schools in our area, K through 8, there was a group coming in called American Heritage Girls. And the American Heritage Girls are, I think they build themselves as Girl Scouts with Bible verses. And you know what? It's great. All things that are done for children are good, in my opinion.